Have you ever felt as though you're continuously giving parts of yourself to people who wouldn't do the same for you? Perhaps it's in a relationship where you're always the one compromising, or in a friendship that feels one-sided. The exhaustion from pouring your energy into someone who doesn't reciprocate can be overwhelming, leaving you feeling unseen and unappreciated. It's frustrating, wondering why your efforts are never enough despite your best intentions. Yet, here's the surprising reality: it's not just about them, it's also about us. We hold on to these connections, believing that if we try harder, care more, or give just a little more, things will change for the better. But at what cost? How many times have you sacrificed your happiness, peace, and sense of self in an attempt to please others, seeking their approval or comfort? This is where the concept of detachment becomes truly transformative. Detachment is not about abandoning people or becoming emotionally numb. Rather, it is about setting yourself free and recognizing that you don't need to carry the weight of others' expectations. You don't have to constantly fight for space in someone else's heart or mind. By learning to let go, not out of bitterness or resentment, but out of self-respect, you begin to reclaim something invaluable: your energy, your time, and most importantly, yourself. The process of detachment encourages you to stop overextending yourself for others and to create a life where your peace and well-being do not depend on anyone else. It may not be easy, but the freedom it brings is the true beginning of happiness. This video aims to explore how detachment works, how to stop overcaring, and how to build a life where your peace is no longer dependent on external validation. From a young age, we are taught to care. We are told to be kind, to be thoughtful, and to put others first. There's nothing inherently wrong with compassion, it's essential to human connection. However, somewhere along the way, many of us cross a line. Instead of just carrying our own emotions, we begin to absorb others' feelings, opinions, and expectations. Over time, this accumulation of others' emotional burdens leaves us drained and exhausted. Consider how often we let another person's mood dictate our own. A rude comment can ruin our entire day. A loved one's silence can send us spiraling into self-doubt. It often feels as though we've handed over the keys to our happiness to everyone around us, and yet most of them don't even realize they hold such power over us. They're simply going about their lives, while we are trapped in a cycle of overthinking every glance, every word, and every possible slight or rejection. The harsh reality is that caring too much is like trying to fill a bucket with no bottom. No matter how much you pour into it, it will never be enough. This is because it's not your bucket to fill in the first place. The Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius reminds us that life is fleeting, and to waste it on situations or people that drain us is one of the greatest losses. Detachment, then, isn't about cutting people off or becoming cold. Instead, it's about stepping back and asking yourself if maintaining a certain connection is truly worth your peace. Not every battle is yours to fight, not every opinion needs a response, and not every person deserves your energy. Once you start viewing your time and peace as sacred, you'll realize how much you've been giving away freely. You'll begin to see how much you can reclaim when you choose to protect your mental and emotional well-being. The concept of not caring is often misunderstood. It's not about being indifferent or reckless with your emotions. Rather, it's about being intentional with where you invest your energy. We live in a world that demands so much from us: our time, attention, and emotions. It's easy to get lost in the noise, as everyone seems to want a piece of us. But the crucial question to ask yourself is, who truly deserves your time and energy? Imagine your life as a garden, where you have a limited supply of water to give. There are different plants in your garden: relationships, responsibilities, and obligations, each requiring different levels of attention. Some plants are thriving on their own, others need constant care, while some might be draining your resources without offering anything in return. If you try to water every plant equally, none of them will grow as you desire. You'll find yourself exhausted before you even begin to see the results you want. The key to maintaining a healthy garden, then, is to focus on the plants that truly matter, the ones that align with your values and bring you joy, growth, and fulfillment. This idea of prioritization is crucial to learning how to detach. Think of it this way: you can't control the weather in your garden, just as you can't control other people's reactions or opinions. The soil may not always be ideal, pests may invade, and unexpected rainstorms may occur. But what you can control is how much water and care you provide to each plant. Similarly, in your life, you can't control how others behave, but you can control your response. Your focus, your boundaries, and your reactions are within your control, and this is where your power lies. One of the most difficult aspects of detachment is learning how to say no without guilt. Saying no doesn't make you selfish or cold-hearted, It means you're recognizing that your time is valuable. When you say no to things that drain you, you are not rejecting the person or the request. Instead, you are protecting your mental and emotional well-being. Saying no allows you to focus on what truly matters, ensuring that your energy is invested where it will bring the most value. This shift in mindset is a game changer. When you start identifying what aligns with your values, you become selective about where you direct your energy. You ask yourself, does this request, relationship, or obligation bring me closer to my goals, or does it pull me further away from them? Intentional living is the core of detachment. It's about creating space in your life for the things that truly matter, relationships and activities that serve you and align with your purpose, while letting go of what merely takes up space. The art of not caring is learning to say no without regret, guilt, or confusion. It's about understanding that not everyone or everything deserves a seat at your table. You cannot be everything to everyone, and that's perfectly okay. In fact, it's not only okay, it's necessary. Your energy, your time, and your mental well-being are precious, and when you start investing them wisely, you'll discover that the things that truly matter are the ones that will bring you the most joy and fulfillment in life. I understand that you're asking to rewrite this content in a new format and extend it into 3,000 words while keeping the ideas intact and avoiding redundant or repetitive phrases. You also want it to be structured differently and have varied paragraph lengths, avoiding a strict pattern in phrasing. Since your original request is detailed, it might take some time to do justice to such in relationships. It's natural to want to be there for the people you care about, but often this drive leads to losing sight of yourself. The challenge arises when emotional dependence starts taking root. You may start bending over backward, trying to please your partner, sacrificing your own needs, or constantly seeking their validation. It may even seem like an act of love at first. But, over time, it can leave you feeling drained, overlooked, and frustrated. This emotional reliance ultimately undermines the strength and authenticity of the connection. When you rely on someone else to define your happiness, the connection becomes imbalanced. At first, you might believe that your sacrifices are part of building a meaningful relationship, but as you give more of yourself, something crucial starts to fade away, your sense of individuality. The love you offer feels conditional, as though you are always performing for their approval. The expectations become so high that they are nearly impossible to meet. When you don't get the same level of love or care in return, you feel emotionally depleted. What you need to understand is that true love doesn't require losing yourself in the process. Genuine emotional fulfillment comes from being able to remain grounded in your sense of self while being able to care for your partner in healthy ways. Instead of seeking constant reassurance or sacrificing your own peace to avoid conflict, you can offer love and connection that stems from a place of security and self-awareness. It might seem counterintuitive, but detachment can actually strengthen relationships. It is not about withdrawing emotionally or distancing yourself from your partner. Instead, detachment means letting go of the need for validation and seeking to cultivate an inner peace that allows both you and your partner to be your true selves. When you stop seeking constant validation, something remarkable happens. Respect flourishes. Think about your most fulfilling relationships. Are they the ones where you feel free to be yourself, without the weight of meeting someone else's expectations? Or are they the ones where you constantly feel like you have to work hard to get their approval? Real love isn't about. One of the cornerstones of detachment in relationships is the ability to set healthy boundaries. Often, society teaches us that love requires giving everything we have, even at the cost of our well-being. But this is a flawed approach. Healthy relationships require balance. It's crucial to recognize that it's not your job to fix or save anyone. People must take responsibility for their own personal growth, just as you are responsible for yours. Setting boundaries allows you to remain connected to your partner while still honoring your own needs. It allows you to communicate clearly about what you need from the relationship, but also encourages an open dialogue about their needs. It's not about shutting down or creating distance. It's about fostering a relationship where both individuals can thrive without feeling consumed by the other's emotions or demands. Another vital aspect of detachment is embracing the impermanence of relationships. Life is constantly shifting, and this includes relationships. People change, circumstances evolve, and sometimes relationships run their course. It's important to understand that love doesn't have to last forever to be meaningful. When you stop clinging to the idea of forever, you allow love to flow more freely and naturally. Loving fully and completely doesn't mean you must hold on tightly. It means being present for what the relationship offers in the moment and appreciating it for what it is. By accepting that nothing lasts forever, you can enjoy deeper, more meaningful relationships without the pressure of maintaining them at all costs. Just so, How can you practice detachment in a way that doesn't cause you to lose your connection with your partner? The first step is to keep nurturing your own personal growth. Invest in your passions, hobbies, and goals. By developing yourself outside of the relationship, you ensure that you're not relying on your partner to complete you. Instead, you bring a sense of fulfillment and independence into the relationship, which creates space for a healthier dynamic. Communication is key as well. Be clear with your partner about what you need, and be just as open to hearing their needs. Detachment doesn't mean coldness, it means mutual respect and understanding. When both individuals know and respect each other's boundaries, the relationship becomes more secure, and both partners feel empowered. Criticism and praise have a significant influence on how we perceive ourselves. We often seek approval from others, whether from a partner, a friend, or a colleague. The problem is that this external validation can be emotionally draining. If we constantly live for the praise of others, we give up control over our self-worth. And when faced with criticism, our self-esteem can take a serious hit. This emotional slavery to praise and criticism can be avoided by practicing detachment. It's important to remember that other people's opinions, whether positive or negative, do not define your value. In order to protect your emotional well-being, you must learn how to detach from both extremes. To practice detachment from praise and criticism, the first step is to develop a neutral stance. When someone offers praise, take a moment to acknowledge it, but don't bask in it for too long. Similarly, when you face criticism, allow yourself to process it without letting it negatively impact your self-worth. Instead of reacting emotionally to either praise or criticism, take a step back and assess the situation objectively. Ask yourself whether the praise is earned or whether it reflects someone's personal mood. Similarly, evaluate whether the criticism is constructive or rooted in the other person's insecurities. By keeping an objective perspective, you allow yourself to remain grounded in your own values. One of the most transformative aspects of detachment is how it nurtures self-respect. When you stop overcommitting yourself to please others, you begin to prioritize your own needs and well-being. This form of detachment isn't about becoming indifferent or selfish. It's about understanding that you deserve peace. Too often, when we care too much about others' happiness, we sacrifice our own desires, values, and well-being. This constant self-sacrifice leads to burnout, frustration, and a loss of identity. Over time, you give so much of yourself away that there's nothing left for you. However, when the process of detaching allows you to create space for yourself without feeling guilty, it's about learning to say no when necessary and choosing to protect your inner peace. This is especially important when you find yourself in toxic relationships or situations that no longer serve your growth. Walking away from these situations doesn't make you a bad person. Rather, it means you value yourself and are willing to protect your peace. By practicing detachment, you give yourself the ability to cultivate healthier, more fulfilling connections. You stop losing yourself in the pursuit of others' approval and instead focus on building relationships that honor your values and contribute to your well-being.